So feel how it feels as you roll side to side, how it gets into the muscles next to your spine. So if you would like me to pay attention to what you're doing, make sure that your camera shows you. If not, and you just want to watch how I do the movement, that's fine too. Come back center and just begin to rock your pelvis from your belly button to your tailbone. So feel how your pelvis is moving and how it works throughout your entire body. And notice how that feels and what's happening as a result of the movement from your tailbone to your belly button. And then lift your right leg into tabletop. Stay here, look at your leg and open. So think of moving from your hip joint. Open your right leg a little to the right. So when you look at your leg as it opens, you shouldn't see anything except for from your knee to your hip. So coming down, out to the side and up. And the reason I say that is a lot of times when I'm teaching, I see people doing a rotation like this. So you can see how this is different than this. So you're opening and closing from the hip joint and you're keeping it small. And then bring that foot down and lift up your left leg and do the same thing here. Also, notice if that supporting leg is moving. It is okay if it moves. Eventually, I'd like for you to work on stabilizing there. I'm challenged on this side. Stabilizing on the right leg is definitely more challenging than the left. Same thing. Notice if you're starting to do this as opposed to this. So you might not go as much distance. And then bring that leg back down. Lift your right leg up again, and now we're just going to tap down and up. So same rule. We're going from the hip joint. A lot of times I see this, so that's different. Sometimes I see this as they come down. So it's really just from the hip joint. So if my leg wasn't bent, it would look just like this. You can always play around with the distance of how much your knee is bent. Good. And let's switch legs. Start here, it's easiest. And then maybe extend. Or keep the leg completely straight. And then bring that leg down and roll a little side to side. Give your back a little break. It depends on what kind of roller you're on. Walk the legs in, your hip width apart. Bring your hands to the ceiling. Really reach your fingers to the ceiling, separating your shoulder blades, and then hug the roller with your shoulder blades. Reach up as far as you can, and then hug the roller. Let's do a few more of those. The next time your shoulder blades are back to neutral, sort of on either side of the roller, bring one arm behind you at a time. If you like, when one arm goes back, bring the other arm by your hip and continue the pattern like this. Or bring both arms down and up together. When your arms go behind you, exhale. Bring those arms by your side and bring your right leg up again. Bring your left arm up. As you open your right leg to the right, bring your left arm to the left. If you're looking at me, you will see I'm not making a huge movement here. So watch that knee in line with the ankle. Come back down and switch. Left leg up, right arm up. Open and close. Notice what side feels more challenging. So your arm won't go all the way over. So I see a few of you bringing your arms all the way out to the side. Stop about 4 inches away from the midline. Better. It makes you work harder internally. And then bring that leg down, and everybody go ahead and roll off your rollers. That's a lot of time on the roller. Set your roller aside for now and wrap your hands around your hamstrings. Some of you may not want to come up this way, so you could roll over to one side to come up. Everybody else, poke your toes to the wall in front of you to come up to sitting. And we're going to come to our hands and knees. So from here, your hands are nice and wide. If at any point your hands are not happy in this position, you can come down to here. Some people do well with fist for wrists, or you can kind of do something with your hands, like roll up the yoga mat or something. This tiny foam roller might even be a good assistance so it doesn't bother you. So from here, hands nice and wide. See if you could feel a stretch in your hands, and feel as if I asked you to, you could levitate your hands off the mat. So I'm going to just pretend you want to be that light that you could really just press as much as you need to lift your hands off the mat. Doing that, you should feel this mostly between your elbow and your armpit. And we're going to start with some cats and cows. So inhale into cow and exhale into cat. So the whole movement, as you inhale, think of your chest reaching towards the earth. And as you exhale, feel your belly button reaching towards the sky. So we're really working through the spine in the areas that it needs it most. So a lot of times, especially when you're a newer teacher, what happens is people do cat and cows, they really dump into their lower back and they really pull up into their upper back. We want to balance that out. So taking your time, letting your head follow along with the movement, using your breath to facilitate the movement. So every time you exhale, feel your lower back getting a little more room in it. As you inhale, feel the chest reaching towards the earth. Come back to neutral, and if you need to, go do something with your hands. Hopefully everybody's okay. And we're just going to bring our right leg back and our left arm forward. Reach your right leg up and making sure that you're in line with your spine, and just tap and lift. Just 4 times. Bring your hand and leg down and switch sides. Start by sending your left foot back. Keep it on the floor and see if you can find that evenness in the pelvis. Then lift that leg up and reach your right arm forward and tap and lift 4 times. Come back down again. Lift your right arm up to the sky, and we're going to thread the needle. Reach all the way underneath you. Do your best to keep that pelvis lined up. Bring your other arm behind you. If that does not feel good to you, let your arm come back to wherever it does. If you feel like a challenge, extend your left foot back and lift it up. Find the position that works for you. Worst case scenario, you roll over to your side. Come back and come up. From here, bring both hands to the far front right corner of the mat. Your legs are together in the middle of the mat. Send both hips to the far back left corner. Let your head rest between your arms. Find the best positioning for you. Maybe feel the lower back, maybe feel the arm, wherever you feel the stretch. It should mostly be on the left side. Take a couple deep breaths here. And just feel your way through it. It should feel good. Come back center. Bring yourself back to the center of the mat. This time lift your left arm up and lace your left arm underneath you. So we're looking underneath, we're threading the needle on this side. If it feels okay, your right arm is behind you. You're balanced on that left arm between your shoulder and your wrist. Send your right leg back if you'd like the challenge. Lift that right leg up if you'd like to go even deeper. And then come back in, unwind, come back up, bring both hands to the left side of the mat, send both hips to the back right corner, getting a stretch in the right side. Hopefully feeling a nice deep stretch through the right side of your body. Couple deep breaths here. Come back center and grab your foam roller again. So now we're going to walk to the back of the mat, and the foam roller is going to be right in front of your knees. You're going to drop your head and roll forward and walk your hands forward until you find your way into a forearm plank. So if you did it the way I did it, you should land in a really good position. You might want to bring your elbows a little more forward, and you're going to roll from your shoulder joint. So first, really press through your palms and elbows, and you're going to just roll from the top of your knees to the top of your hips, back and forth. It should feel kind of good. Really watch for the tendency to do stuff with your spine. So I want to maintain a neutral spine. A lot of times when I teach this, I see a lot of this. I see a lot of collapsing in the lower back. I also see a lot of this. That is not the movement. It is really simple. You're just rolling your quadriceps from right above your knees to your hips. The only tricky part is finding where to place your forearms. So if you're not getting that nice roll, you might need to either bring them forward a little like that. And if that doesn't feel right to you, just find that positioning. So you see, my shoulders are either going towards my wrists or about 6 inches behind my elbows. I'm really focused on the quads. Hopefully this feels kind of good and therapeutic. And just a couple more. See if you can maintain a head, neck, and shoulder alignment. And then you could come back down to your knees. This next one is not for everybody, but if anybody would like to try it, the best way to get into it is to start about here. So I'm right on my forearms, my hips are over my knees. My head and neck, my ears are right between my arms. As I exhale, I'm going to start rolling up from my lower back, and then I come back in. So same thing here. I think I'm a little too far forward. So from here, the goal eventually is to come all the way up, and then you roll down and you come forward. It's very challenging to keep those hips stacked. I'm not even doing it perfectly. But the idea is to get some more articulation in the spine, some opening in the chest. So right here, you're getting a nice opening in your heart. So you're in control of how deep this goes, or you skip it all together. So I'm going to go ahead and have us sit upright, and we'll work on some more flexibility. So soles of the feet together, knees open, and just play around with this position. So with every inhale, see if you can get those knees closer towards the earth, sitting nice and tall. So this is a combination of just all around good body health. So as I see everybody, I could see we should be doing this more. So let's see what we can do here. So unless you have something biomechanically going on with you, I'd love to see more opening in those inner thighs. If you're feeling a lot in the knees, don't push it. There could be a lot of reasons for that, but this is mostly inner thigh. And just very easily see if you could come forward a little. Can you allow your shoulders to relax? That's probably the biggest challenge. Then come up and bring your legs in front of you and just start windshield wipering side to side. And notice where you feel it here. I feel it in my hips big time, especially the one side. And then come back up and just sit easily. So we're gonna sit, you could be cross-legged, or if you really wanna challenge yourself, start with your right shin forward and your left leg back. So other ways of getting into this is you can sit on a block or a roller to help you get your pelvis nice and aligned without feeling discomfort. Then we're going to lift up your left arm, feel the shoulder blades gliding up and down. And then we're going to lift from the ribs as you come up and over. Take a nice deep inhale. See if you could feel more support in the right side, and see if it feels okay to open up a little more in the left. And then press to come up and take a counter stretch. And let's do a couple of these back and forth. If you feel like you want to hold a little, you can. The idea is to get a little more opening in the side of our body and support in the spine. And then unravel. And we're going to just extend out your left leg. So your right leg is bent, your left leg is straight. Can you keep your sit bones even on the mat? We're going to lift the right arm up, glide that shoulder blade up and down. Good. So the spine stays still. See, take a moment here. Let's everybody put their hand here. See if that helps with releasing the upper trap. So if you notice you're tight here, if you put your hand here, it should help release it a little. And then all I want you to do is kind of lift and lower from the shoulder blade. And then if that feels good, the arm unfolds. And then come up and over. So same idea, only on this side you're lifting the ribs here. The stretch is in the right side, and you're just breathing and holding. See if you can feel yourself lifting a little more, lengthening a little more, and releasing here. If you need to, hand back here. If you need to, relax the arm. Do your best to find the positioning that works best for you. This hand can support you to help you get a little more support in here. As you inhale, feel the rib cage expanding in all directions, and as you exhale, see if you can come even deeper. On your next exhale, press your left hand into the floor, bring both arms over towards that right leg, and we're going to slowly start to find your way into pigeon. So that was kind of a sneaky way for me to get you there. If pigeon isn't in your routine, you can lay on your back and do a four-corner stretch. But for those of you who are here, see if you can lift up that left leg and rest on your thigh. And we're really opening more from the upper back, and then you come down to your forearms. If this really is a danger knee thing, all you need to do is lay on your back and cross your right ankle over your left thigh. So that's your option if laying face down is sending scary signals here. If you're really going for it, another way to get into this is to be in a lunge, then walk your right foot towards the left side of the mat, lift your left knee up and see if you can lay more onto your thigh, and then find your way down into this deep hip stretch. The only place I don't want you to feel it is the knee area. It's totally normal to feel a lot of stuff going on in the area by your hip. Notice what's happening in your mind and see if you can allow yourself to just let go a little more. With every breath, release a little more. Then you can unravel and just sort of shift to the outside of that right hip to come back up to this position. And then open up that right leg and find a straddle. So sitting nice and tall. If you need to, you can hold on to your inner thighs to help you sit tall. And start to bend your left leg, keeping both hips even on the mat. Reach your left arm to the sky, and remember, you could do different versions of this. I just want you to feel the shoulder blade rolling up and down your back. So we're not doing this. I hope you can see the difference. We're not doing this, we're doing this. So can you keep your elbows straight the whole time? So I still see some elbow bending. So when you come down, the elbow doesn't bend. Keep it here. Now lift up. Now I bent it a little bit. Feel the lift in the right side and the stretch in the left. You can use the roller if you need it. Thank you, Eleanor. You made me think about that. And some of us might need a roller under the thigh here if the knee does not come down to the floor. Take a deep breath here. And I think I'm gonna start with the Z-sit, the mermaid. So we're sitting tall here. I kind of reversed the order. And just see how that feels and come all the way up and over on this side. And switch. And we're just gonna alternate side to side. This is more side bending, spine. It does get into the hips. The next time your left arm comes down, so you can start to straighten out that right leg and find your way into that pigeon. So same thing, if you really want to get into the full positioning, you can start in a lunge. Your choice. Walk your left foot to the right side of the mat and just start to come down. If you're super tight, you can throw a yoga block or something under that left hip. Lift the right leg and lay more on top of that thigh. So you want to find that positioning that works well for you, and then come all the way down, stack your fists, let your head rest onto your fists, and breathe and see if you can let yourself go even deeper. With every breath, allow yourself to release a little more. So having a block or something under that left hip helps make sure that you don't get into the knee. It actually goes deeper into the hip. I just tried it. So you want to get the pelvis even. Nice. So with every breath, and notice maybe emotions are coming up here. Can you allow yourself to release a little more? And then carefully peel yourself up and unravel back to Baddha Konasana. Getting those soles of the feet together and knees apart. And maybe reaching forward. And then extend your legs forward. So you can still stay forward, but you can come to the side of the mat like this. And I'm just holding on to my hamstrings because I know my habits. So I tend to go like this. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm super flexible. That's just my go-to position. Some people go like this. Whatever you need to do to find your imaginary wall behind your back. Now, wherever you are, reach your arms up. Keep the alignment of your head, neck, and shoulders. Press your lower back back as you reach forward. My hope is you feel mostly hamstrings. This is more against an imaginary wall, and we're not yanking out of our shoulders. We're just reaching forward, and then come back up. Let's just, for fun, pretend you're holding a bar and reach forward again. And come back up. So in my mind, what I just did was I'm now pretending I'm sitting on a trapeze table doing one of these exercises. My brain just left me what it's called, and I should know it's a very simple, basic exercise. Just come all the way here, seated push through. That's it. Come back in, keep the alignment of your head, neck, and shoulders, and then rest down. Grab your foam roller, place it to where your shoulder blades are going to be. So you may not know where that is. So sometimes a good way to do this is to just hold on to the roller and see if you can find where the shoulder blades are. Hold your hands behind your head, and your elbows should be in your peripheral vision. So let's see how everybody's looking. Good. And just let your head rest into your hands. So stay here. You're just letting your head rest into your hands. And then all I want you to do is let your head go back towards the mat as you exhale. As you inhale, come back up. So now you're welcome to exhale on both. Exhale, come back, inhale, and exhale up. Whatever works for you, but I'm encouraging you to exhale as you go back so that you can maintain a nice positioning in your back. So we don't overflare the ribs and end up in a back spasm. Come up and hold it. Lift your hips a little bit and roll up and down, giving yourself a nice massage in your upper back. Maybe rolling into one side and into the other. Is that a new puppy? We'll talk about that later. Super cute. Come back in, and we're going to bring our necks on the roller and just roll your head side to side. So if you have a smaller roller, this feels really good. It's really nice. And come center and take the roller out from under your head and just place it under your knees. So from here, we're just going to rock our pelvis back and forth again. Just see how you're feeling. Let your head relax. And take a moment, bring your legs a little closer together and just let your legs rock a little side to side. Now come back center. Again, bring your tailbone to the mat. Drop into your right hip. Bring your belly button to the mat. Drop into the left hip. Bring your tailbone down. And switch. Go left, belly button, right, down. And just draw a circle with your pelvis. And notice how that is feeling. Hopefully you're feeling nice and even. And you're not getting the clicks that I'm getting. I'm trying to work through it. This is a really good exercise to work through pelvic imbalance. And it's also good to prep you for a nice long hike or walk. And come back center, and let's start with some simple bridging. Hands by your hips, shoulder blades down. Make sure your head's not on a pillow here. As you exhale, press your lower back into the mat so much so that you are lifting your tailbone up. Continue to lift your tailbone up. And just for a moment, gaze down. Make sure your thigh bones are even. And then keeping your hips in the mat, feel like your heels are reaching towards your sacrum. Maybe lift even higher. Very nice. So you want to lift so high that if I drew a line from my knees to my armpit, it would look like one line as opposed to what I see a lot of here. I see this. This is what I see in bridge. We want shoulders, ribs down, hips up. Then slowly articulate your spine back down. Take your time. Notice where you want to completely flatten your back in the mat. Can you encourage yourself for more articulation? Right away, place your feet on the foam roller If you have something higher, that's always a nice little trick to do too. So press your back into the mat, lift your hips up, feel yourself lengthening up. See if you can get your hips even higher. Good, everybody's looking really good. And then rock your feet back and forth. See if you can feel how that affects your hamstrings. And then slowly, slowly peel down. And then bring that roller in. Lift up one more time. Lift up by pressing that back in and place the roller right under your sacrum. So you don't want that roller to be laying in the middle or the small of your lower back. If it is, it won't feel very good. If you're on your sacrum, it feels great. I wish I had a bigger roller because the higher up, the better it feels. So just stay here for a moment and bring your right leg into your chest. Allow your right knee to reach towards your right armpit and circle your right foot from the ankle joint. Just staying here and reverse it. Just allow your leg to rest into your hands as you extend your left leg straight. Notice if you feel a nice little opening in the top of your left leg. So everything's just nice and relaxed. Hopefully you feel your hips getting some nice openings. And then if this feels good to you, maybe press that left femur bone more towards the mat. Then slide your left leg in, bring your right foot down, and go ahead and wrap your hands around your left leg. So I'm aiming my left knee towards my left armpit. And I do feel a little stretch in my quadriceps here. Circle your left foot from the ankle joint. This is a nice, easy way to get yourself more stretching and more flexibility. And then go ahead and extend that right leg straight, continuing to hold on to that left shin, pressing that right leg deep towards the floor, hopefully feeling a nice opening in the top of your right leg, getting deep into that hip flexor and quad. So your left knee is bent, you're pulling that towards your left shoulder blade, your left armpit, and then bend your knee. I don't know why I said shoulder blade, that was incorrect. So knees are even, hips are on the roller, and we're just gonna roll side to side. So my hope is you're feeling this in your hips. It should feel much nicer than the pigeon pose. And you're only gonna go as far as you're able to maintain pelvic alignment. So if you look at your knees when you're doing this, they should be stacked. Remember earlier when we were on the roller? So watch out for the tendency to move from your knees like this. We're just evenly rolling side to side. I'm not going all the way down because I want to protect my back. If you're able to maintain that pelvic alignment, you could go even further. And then come back center. You might need to readjust the roller, I do. And then we're going to lift those legs back up and bring your feet to the sky. Take a moment if you can see yourself in the camera or if you can see yourself in a mirror. Make sure that your legs are perpendicular to the floor. Now we're going to start walking our legs, really lengthening through. And then we're going to bicycle. Find length through your entire body. Really lengthening those legs. Can you get your feet towards the mat? Slide them on the mat. Maybe reverse it, push away. Anybody else noticing their abdominal muscles kicking in? Everybody come back to this starting position. And all I want you to do is, we're going to do some choreography. You're going to do two walks like this and draw a semicircle around and do 1, 2, around. 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 Bring your heels together, toes apart, and find that positioning and drop your legs only as low as you can go without your back feeling it. We're just going to bend and straighten your legs. Hopefully you're really feeling this. This is a lot of abs, inner thighs. Now bring your toes together, heels apart in that 90-degree angle, and go as low as you can safely go, heels together, toes apart. Toes together, heels apart, heels together, toes apart. So we're drawing an imaginary almond with our legs. So this is really great for the hips. You might be noticing abs. Come center and start flutter kicking and go down, same thing. Really maintain a good neutral spine, so you don't want to go too low. So you come up and down. One more. Come up, bend your knees, bring your feet to the mat, lift up, remove the rollers. Walk your feet to the wide edges of the mat and begin windshield wipering your legs side to side. Hopefully that felt like good work, healthy work. The next time your legs drop over to the left, let them stay there. Take a deep breath here. If you happen to feel a pull in your right knee, you can take the foam roller and just rest it under your knee. If it's not big enough, you can put a yoga block, whatever you need to do to support that knee. If you don't, you can just let it stay. And then we're going to bring our hands behind our hamstrings. What is going on with my brain today? Hands behind your head and pick up your right elbow and bring it towards the floor on the left side. So it really depends on you. A lot of us will feel it back here. Some of us will feel it in here. Some of us won't feel anything at all, but no matter what, the movement is good for you. You can hold this for as long as you like. We're going to bring that top leg on top of the bottom one. Pick your top elbow up and look at your knees for a moment. A little trick I do sometimes is I slide my top knee forward a little, because as I start to roll back, that top leg will want to roll back. And I'd like to encourage my pelvis to stay aligned, because I really want to have a nice, honest stretch here. So I'm not really forcing myself to bring my shoulder blade to the floor. I'm just going where my body says it's okay. I will confess that sometimes I do want to force it because I feel like it's going to make me feel better. But it's much better to naturally let it happen. Come back center. Roll back to your back. Take a moment here and just hold on to your right leg as you extend your left leg. Gently pull your right knee towards your right armpit and circle your right foot from the ankle joint. Reverse it. So if anybody's really paying attention, grab your strap. If you grabbed a strap, I was going to and I forgot. Straighten out your leg and put the strap at the bottom of your foot. So if doing something like this is too much stress on your leg for you, you can hold your hamstring, you can get a strap, whatever works for you. There's no prizes being handed out if you can get your leg to do what mine's doing. Some of us are going to be down here. You just find the best place for you. So I'm going to make it nicer on myself today and just hold the hamstring, and I'm okay there, so I'm grabbing the calf. So we're here, you're gonna gently press your leg into the strap and then inhale, release. Exhale and press, inhale, release. Exhale and press, inhale, release. And then open that right leg on a diagonal to the right side. So as I was saying, if you were really paying attention, you'll notice that I kind of swapped sides. I am fully aware that this is correct, the right side on me, and I'm just cueing it this way since I'm facing a different direction. But when we did the knee thing, I switched it because I wanted to see you for the first time. So now from here, bring that leg back center, bend the knee, keep both shoulders on the mat, and just cross that right leg all the way over towards the left side. And just stay here for a moment. If you'd like, you can kind of grab the meaty part of your thigh, the top part of your thigh where your body meets your leg, and gently press it away a little to help you maintain pelvic alignment. Breathe and release. Unravel. Bring your feet back to the wide edges of the mat and windshield wiper your legs again. So this time, let both legs drop to your right. So your right will be the opposite. So I'm going to flip around, defeating my purpose. So your legs are going to go off to your right, and just walk that other leg back if it feels okay. If you feel a pull in that leg, maybe put a block or something under it. Hands behind your head. Pick up your left elbow and bring it all the way up and over to the floor on the right side. Same deal. You might feel a stretch in here all the way through to here. With every breath, see if you can allow yourself to let go even more. Then stack your knees. You might want to do my little trick, or you might want to just challenge yourself to keep them even. Pick up that left elbow and start to roll back, looking over towards the back of the room. With every breath, just allow yourself to release even more. Unravel, and go ahead and lay back to your backs. I'm coming back to this side. This way, next time I'll be a little more mindful. So we're here. You're gonna hold on to your left leg and extend your right leg straight, and just start to straighten out that leg. Find out where it works for you to hold on to that leg. So for those of you who do have the flexibility and you don't have a strap, you can grab your big toe with your index finger and middle finger. From here, press your leg into your hand and release for a deeper stretch. Do it again. It's okay if your head comes up. And do it again. And then let that left leg open to the left side on a diagonal. So you're getting nice inner thigh and hamstring. I'm keeping my hip down. So I see a lot of this when I'm teaching. So we want to keep that nice and long. And then bring that leg in, bend the knee. Keep both shoulders on the floor and cross your left leg over to the right side. Do your best to keep both shoulders on the floor. It's okay if you don't. Side note for those of you with hip replacements, you want to keep your leg like this. You don't want to go into a deep internal rotation, especially if you have posterior approach. So you can always take a normal sized roller and put it here. It should stay up, or a yoga block. And then turn your head to look over your right shoulder. I'm sorry, your left shoulder. I'm on the same side as you now. Unravel. We're going to do one more pigeon stretch. So if you need to, you can kind of move around, make sure that you're nice and even, do a couple pelvic tilts, go a little side to side, find an even, neutral spine, pick your right ankle up and cross it over your left thigh, aim that knee away from you, rock a little side to side. Come center, pick your left leg up, hands wrap around that left hamstring. Just stay here. If that feels okay and you're like, this is not deep enough, wrap your hands around your shin. There's a couple things you can do here. If you have the ability, you can use your right elbow and push your leg away a little or keep it stable. Or if you want to kind of make sure that your hip isn't getting locked in, you can just hold it here. And everybody can tilt their legs an inch towards the left. You should feel this in the right side. Same thing, you can always hold these longer than I am. Come back center. Unravel, cross your left ankle, your right ankle, left ankle over right thigh. I'm messing up big time today. And pick up that right leg. Wrap your hands around your shin if you need to, and tilt your legs an inch to the right. There's a little joke we always have in the fitness instructor community, and that is, don't ask a fitness instructor for directions, because we're so used to flip-flopping and we usually end up getting it wrong at some point or another. Come back center. Let's all take happy baby, knees towards the armpits, tailbone to the floor, and rock side to side. If all else fails, just make sure you've done both sides at least once. Notice where you feel this the most. However, you want to find your way up to sitting, so you can roll up, or you could roll to one side and gently push yourself up. And everybody find a nice, comfortable sitting position. So if we were doing strictly Pilates, I would have you stand up, but for today I'm going to have you sit. And I just want you to reach your right ear towards the ceiling. If you can see yourself in the camera, or you can see yourself in a mirror, make sure your shoulders are even. A lot of times I see this. And just stay for a moment. See if you can feel yourself releasing. Now look down at your left armpit. Take your left hand, place it behind the base of your skull, press your head into your hands. Release, let your hand come down, roll your chin center. Lift your head up, sit nice and tall, and reach your left ear to the ceiling. And just stay here for a moment. You can stay here for up to 5 minutes. It really helps release the neck. Look down at your right armpit. Take your right hand at the base of your skull, press back, release, roll your chin center, lift your head up, bring your thumbs to your hearts. Feel your shoulder blades gliding down your body as you feel yourself as if you're a marionette being hung by your strings. Gently bow your head forward, looking at your fingertips. Feel the connection of your hands to your heart, knowing everything will be okay. I wish you all love, peace, joy, and wonderful good health always. Namaste. And thank you. I'm going to turn off the camera. I have a couple minutes, if anybody does. I understand some of you might be